Well, if I were young again, I'd pay attention to that little known dimension. The taste of endless time is just like water, and it runs right through our fingers. The flavor of it lingers like a rich red wine. In those days we were single, we lived them one by one. Now we hardly see them, they don't walk, they run. But I've got plenty left, I've set my sight on. Don't wait up, leave the light on, I'll be home soon. I've never seen my life.
It's so nice to you're just somebody, for some reason I've had in my head, like I just kind of am curious about this guy, Chris Smither, who I've known about for, oh my God, 30 plus years now. And you've been playing longer than that, but that's when you came on my radar, was in the early 90s. And so, you know, and then you came in and I'm just watching you play and I'm like, this guy is so much fun to watch. And, you know, with that big personality, some call it charisma, I guess. Maybe it's related to charisma, what you were talking about, this kind of persona you create, so people are gravitating towards you, right? And what you're doing.
Uh, it's been it's interesting that it's been only in the last 30 years, because the last 30 years have been the best part of my whole career. You know, the first part, you know, is one of those things where it started off like a rocket, and then I sort of self-sabotaged for a while, and then sort of got my act back together, and gradually it's just been, you know, I've become a better person. And I think and I think in a way that people see that, you know, and so,
Hmm.
and you know, I don't take it for granted for a second, you know. I Half the time I feel like I'm sort of living for the fans, and I don't want to disappoint them, and they're a huge motivating factor, you know, in my life. You know, I'm grateful to have them, and I try to treat them with respect.
Do you, you're almost suggesting you're writing music and finding songs to play, because you do some covers too, but, you know, in order to please your listeners and your audience, as opposed to,
No, it's not really to please them. Well, it's a complicated thing. I have to please myself, you know, but in pleasing myself, you know, there's the hope that I'm not going to disappoint anybody. The fact that I produce anything at all is for their sake, you know, because I had countless people coming up to me saying, please don't stop what you're doing. You know, and especially since I've gotten to past the age where most people retire. You know, they keep saying, you're not going to quit doing this. You're not going to retire, are you? And so in a way, there's I feel like almost an obligation to them to keep doing it. And then as far as the actual material, you know, what I write, they cut me an unbelievable amount of slack. You know, it's they will, even if they don't understand what's going on at first, they listen to it again and again, and they come around and say, okay, we see what you're driving at. You know, it's fun.
mm-hmm. But yeah, I was just thinking about your most recent album, and there's a lot of it's just kind of fun to listen to. There's the
Yeah.
like a song like Down in Thibodeau, or comes to
Hmm.
mind, of course. That's somebody who enjoys to a listener, to somebody who's listening to it. That's you would think that sounds like somebody who enjoys writing music and writing songs, having that they're having fun.
Yeah. You know, one of my favorite comments about songwriting is what Randy Newman said. Somebody asked him, "Do you enjoy writing songs?" And he said, "No, I enjoy having written them."
I think it was Mary McCarthy, who's the author from the Algonquin Roundtable. She, or it might have been Lillian Hellman or somebody, but
Mhm.
one of those no nonsense
Yeah,
1940s, like
right.
women that authors said they don't like writing. Or it could have been even Agatha Christie, possibly. But somebody said, I don't like writing, but I love having written. It makes complete
Yeah,
sense, of course. And what's
yeah.
your favorite song? It's that one you just finished
The one
because,
you just finished.
yeah, it's the best,
But
right?
on the other hand, you're not supposed to have a favorite because they're like your children,
Right. So many cliches, Chris, right? To navigate, you know.
Right.
But
But
yeah,
I do. There are points where I do enjoy it. It is such a struggle. Because I don't write constantly. I write in bursts, and uh,
as needed basis as
yes,
need.
right. Like, uh-oh, better make a record before
Yeah,
everybody just forgets about me. And so I try to get started, and that is, oh my God, it's like pulling teeth. You know, you have so much lethargy to get rid of, mental and your mental muscles are out of shape, and but once it starts to roll, then it becomes enjoyable because you know that it's going to continue until you finish. You know that because you're sort of happy. There comes a point where you realize I'm going to get this done, and this batch of
sure.
song.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah. But it's interesting you brought up retiring at whatever age because someone 50 years ago, like a Mick Jagger or Pete Townsend, one of those guys said, "I'm gonna retire before I'm 40. I'm not gonna do this." And of course, maybe they meant their second time reaching 40,
yeah,
'cause-
yeah.
right? I mean, and they're still like, what are you going to do? You're still got the bug. You still got fire in your belly, whatever expression you want to use. And, and some people, I guess, do it for more cynical reasons. But, well, where it's like spandex, as far as I know, like, no, you're not dyeing your hair and well, you may be dyeing your hair, but I'm saying you don't
I
wear
don't.
spandex. Oh, it's amazing. But you don't have, it's like you're not running around like a kid rock star.
No.
You're a musician. And why would a musician stop playing unless they just wanted to?
Yeah, and especially when people are still coming to see you,
Yeah,
you know, it's
it's pretty awesome.
and it makes you feel useful.
Yeah, it's important.
It's important.
Yeah. And it says a lot, though, that you stuck your neck out and you agreed to be in this film because that,
I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait. It was. I've thought about. I have other friends that have gotten into acting and been in movies. One of my producers, Stephen Bruton, he was in a lot of films. He
oh,
didn't really have any big parts, but he was in quite a few movies. And I asked him about that, and he said, "Oh, it's really fun, but it's a whole other world. It'll occupy your mind
yeah, yeah, yeah.
to the exclusion of everything else while you're doing it." But and I've always thought that I kind of like to do it, and there have been a couple of opportunities where people not as professional and well established as the people I wound up working with, said, "Well, we got this film project. We'd love to use you," and then it went nowhere. And so when this came along, I was okay. One more thing I can do before the end.
Did you have a sense that this was? you have a sense that this was gonna that this was gonna happen, as opposed to some of the other projects which languished? It sounds like.
Oh, that was one of the most important aspects of it, was it that, when Carol approached me and said, "These guys want you to come out to be in this movie," and she said, "I think this is the real deal." She had done some research, and these were established filmmakers. They weren't just fooling around. They
Right. Yeah. 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 Did you not incorporate, but did you process or think about, I guess, the when you're preparing for, I don't know how much Sam, the director of this short film, the singers that you're in, but did you lean on any of your techniques as musical performer?
N- Uh, I think unconsciously I probably did.
Uh-huh.
I didn't prepare at all. In fact, I was sort of warned not to. They said
Okay, that makes sense.
you don't have to learn any lines. We're going to feed you your lines, um, and you're in good company. Almost everybody here is a first timer on the cast, and don't worry about it. We're going to be right there with you the whole time. It's not something that is going to strain your memory or anything like that. We just want you
Hmm.
to. And the other thing that they hastened to tell me was, you're not playing Chris Smither. You're playing,
Yeah,
you're playing an
right.
80-year-old bum in in a bar. So
Yeah. Um, yeah, you didn't, did you know what to do with your hands? You
yeah,
didn't have a guitar for once,
right.
in your,
Oh yeah. Well, they gave me a bottle of beer and a cigarette. So
and that beer, was that a real beer?
none of it's real.
Yeah.
None of it's
All
real.
make
It's all
believe.
non-alcoholic beer, and the cigarettes
Yeah.
are movie cigarettes. I think it's like clover and rose petals or something.
Yeah. Wow. And how do you think it came out?
I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just wondering how you feel like, how do you feel that it came out?
Oh, I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah.
It was so condensed from the footage that got shot.
Hmm.
And you realize that, oh my God, there was all this other stuff that went on, but this is what they chose, and they used this little 2-second segment and this little 5-second segment, and it
Right.
all gets pieced together. And I don't think, other than the singing, I don't think I have more than 3 lines in the movie at all, but I said a lot more than that,
You did.
just in the interest of keeping it all together. Of course, all that gets edited, but I thought everybody in the movie was just really impactful. It was the whole beginning of the movie, that whole where you get little snatches of conversation back and forth, and
Hmm.
between the people sitting at the bar, and it was
Yep.
very effective in creating the kind of atmosphere that was there. And the whole thing, I was stunned, because you have in your imagination, you sort of know what it's going to look like, and then you realize you had no idea what it was going to look like.
Yeah, it's great to have that kind of mind expanding experience. So, at this point in your life,
Yeah.
it's a great thing. I was going to ask you just a little bit before about just your process, as a songwriter, just out of curiosity, and like you say, you take these hiatuses or hiati, whatever you call them,
Yeah.
when and then it's okay. It's time to right to kind of
Mhm.
put put pen to paper or to
Well,
start.
that's the secret, is putting the pen to the paper. You have to put pen to paper before you have any ideas. I know that
Right.
it sounds counterintuitive, but the secret to writing is writing. You just have to start putting things down. And I was having a hard time remembering that myself on this batch of tunes. It's something that I've learned over and over again. In a way, you sort of have to relearn these things. But David, my producer, David Goodrich, he saw that I was struggling, and he lives down in Austin, Texas now, and he said, "I'm going to come up. I want to sit with you for a couple of days." And he's one of these people that I've worked with for 25 years, and he's wonderful in the way that he just walks in the room and then everything changes for me. You know, there's a different atmosphere that takes over, and he came in and he sat down. The room's full of guitars, and he picked one up. He's a wonderful guitar player himself, and he just started playing this bass lick, ba 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 boom, ba 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 bum, ba 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 bum, and I picked up the guitar and started riffing with him, and we're just sitting there tossing it back and forth, and we never got out of the one chord. We're just sitting there, and uh, and he looked up at some point after a minute or so, and he says, "Sing something," and I said, "All about the bone, blah 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 blah," and he stopped and he said, "Write that down."
Yeah. Wow.
And it just, a day or two of working like that and the floodgates open. Yeah. So. Consider your high station, think about your fame, all of your creation depending on your fame. Ain't no doubt about it, flesh can set the tone, but when you get down to the rhythm, man, you get right down to the bone. It's all about the bone, it's all about the bone, it's all about the bone, all about the bones. Some will make you stronger, others make you tall. Don't make no bones about it, man, they got some don't work at all. Some will make you ugly, others make you smile. It don't matter, they all clatter, yeah, when they end up on the pile. It's all about the bones, it's all about the bones, it's all about the bones, all about the bones.
It triggers something, right? In the
Yeah,
creative
yeah. You remember,
brain.
you
Hmm.
remember, all of a sudden you remember what the feeling is that you were looking for. And once you remember that, then it's much easier to summon. The feeling of just releasing a part of your mind. I've often said that writing songs is like having a conversation with a part of your brain that you're not really on speaking terms with. And so you
Hmm.
have to sort of approach each other with a kind of there's a gingerly sort of uh, interaction going on there. But
Think about, yeah. Think about all the substances people take just to get to that part of it,
that's
to
right.
get there. And you don't, it turns out all you need is that producer friend of yours.
That's right. And a little patience.
Patience. Yeah. Yeah.
You go in to write and you sit there and you just have to cultivate the art of, I think, of just sitting there and waiting.
Hmm.
And usually you don't have to wait very long, but it can seem like an eternity.
Yeah.
10 minutes will seem like an absolute eternity.
Yeah. But is there a part of you that knows, since you've made how many albums?
20, I think.
Like, it's just intellectually, well, I've done it 20 times. It'll
That
get,
believe me, that's a big part of it. There's a big part of it that is just exactly what you just said, of saying to yourself, this is going to happen. I have faith that this is going to happen. It has happened before every time. There's no reason for it not to.
right. Yeah. You haven't run out of ideas.
Right.
That would be the biggest fear, right? Anxiety is I've run out
Yeah.
of ideas, musical and
And just
stories.
remembering that, you just write something down. Like when Goody said, write that down, all
Hmm.
about the bones. And that starts you off on all kinds of trains of thought. What kind of bones are we talking about? Why are we talking about bones? What do they
It's,
have to
it's
do? What does that relate to?
yeah, yeah, right.
And all of a sudden you're off and running.
Yeah, it's an exciting moment,
Yeah.
right? It because the
Right.
world opens up, right? You
Yeah.
can now it's like you're become the god of your domain there.
Yeah.
You're going to invent at this.
Well, it's almost like you're almost its servant too, because you're
Hmm.
leading. It's leading. You're following.
Oh,
And I sometimes feel like I've said this before too. It's like when you used to roll a tire down the street, as a kid, and you get it
not at
going.
Forest Hills. We didn't.
That way, no, in Forest Hills you didn't. We did all the time. We just roll a wheel along and try to keep up with it. It's the
Yeah,
hell with where it's going. All you're trying to do is keep it up. Make sure it doesn't fall over.
yeah, you're right.
So,
So that's what the song process is. The writing. It's that wheel or that
right,
tire. Yeah,
right,
trying to keep it from tipping over.
yeah.
Well, there's another song. Wait a minute. I think you might have
All
an
right.
idea for a new song.
Let me write that down.
It's a good one. Um, so very good. So when did you kind of know or dis, do you have a memory of the when you called yourself a songwriter?
Ah, okay, there's a couple of them in the early part of my career. I think by the time I was still had the feeling that I was experimenting, that I was just giving this a little shot. And I might go off and teach anthropology someplace after all. That's it. But
Yeah.
what's intriguing to me is I think it was about 1975 when I realized that I was doing it. This is not an experiment anymore. I was doing it for better or for worse, how
Okay.
long it was going to last. And it was just a realization that what I was doing was probably what I was going to wind up doing.
And then it's just a matter of getting comfortable with the word songwriter in your
Yeah,
coming out of your mouth, right?
right, right.
Like wife.
I know. That's right. That's right. Very similar.
Um, well, I really do hope you are able to get over here at some point. I know Rick kind of was kind of he just loves you, and so I guess he's hoping that we'll be able to figure it out, which would be a nice thing.
Oh, I'm sure you will. I'm
Yeah,
sure. I'm sure it'll happen.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We've had some the experiences that we have here at this station, and with especially these parlor sessions where we invite. Folks to play and we get a nice little group of 30, 40 people come out.
Sure.
There's something magical that happens, and I'm sure you experienced it throughout your career many times. So this is just another place where it seems to happen, where there's like all of a sudden there's just the music starts, the audience is there with an appetite, and
Yeah.
the symbiosis occurs, and
It's
it's
my favorite kind of audience, actually, where you can actually see everybody. My
yeah,
agent
right, yeah.
prefers bigger ones, but
Oh, I get
in
it.
terms of
Sure, right.
in
Of
terms
course,
of my personal satisfaction,
yeah.
a situation like that where I can see everybody and get that sense of community.
Yeah. Well, during the daytime, some of those festivals can do that too, right? 'Cause,
Yes.
yeah. When there's a when there's a small turnout on occasion, like how is it require you psyching yourself up more, or, when there's been like for whatever reason, with it could be the weather, I don't know, but like people don't turn up and there's a
Yeah.
small audience when there's supposed to be a bigger one, is my point,
Yeah.
what,
It's you know it I intellectually you look at it and you say, oh, what am I going to do? This, that, and the other. And then you go out and you sit down
Yeah,
and whatever professional aspects of yourself are there take over. You start to play. I have a kind of a sort of there's a semi-trance that I almost go into when I play a song. I start the song, that
yeah,
happens, and I say, okay, this is no different. Doesn't matter, 10 people or 1,000 people. It's
that's great.
You do the same thing.
Yeah, that's great. And also, you also can employ this knowledge, like we were talking about before, knowing intellectually again that, yeah, 10 people, but they'll be the next one will have 200, 300. You know, what I mean, like, it's like, it's
Right.
okay once in a while if
Yeah.
it doesn't quite, and you'd go and you would just be 100% present.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Well, thank you very much. I mean,
Oh,
I
you're
could talk to you
welcome.
for, believe me, a lot longer, but there's a radio station that needs to. So maybe we can do a part two at some point, maybe when this parlor session thing works out, because
Great.
get into the weeds. But um, thank you.
Thank you. It's great.
Have a Yeah, have a great let's see, it's Thursday. Yeah. Have a great weekend, I guess.
It will be.
And I'll see you soon.
See you, Adam. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Take care.
Yeah.